What's very distressing to me all along throughout the entire battle with this legislation, it's been stated often that no, we don't need signature from Corporation Counsel. So I see that. But the other thing is, we have mounds and mounds of reports and outside counsel information and lots of case law and, you know, details on the Commerce Clause. And I mean, the list goes on that my office, and I think some others are very privy to and have inquired and received and researched and gotten. Yet this Corporation Counsel has failed to do this type of due diligence work for us on our behalf. And it just it's again really distressing, and it bothers me because it seems to be that point for point, the opposing defense in direct relation to this item seems to be the same exact information and defense our Corporation Counsel is giving us.
Address your remarks to me, please.
And so I'm just, I'm feeling and I'm seeing that this Corporation Counsel has not worked in the benefit of us, to this county, to this body, to everything this legislation is trying to better and protect. So I have a lot of information, a lot of supportive documentation, scientific documentation too, but also to defend what this is written to do, the purpose and intent about the Commerce Clause issues, about is it our jurisdiction issues, about, I mean, the list goes on and on. So I just, I don't even know really where to begin, but there's a definite conflict as far as I can see that the council that's been retained to oppose this legislation, which is Marjorie Bronster, she was here and testified, her, I see word for word matching of what this Corporation Counsel has put forward to us. So I'm like wondering, what is the relationship here? Because it really seems to be one. With our Corporation Counsel and the defense. I can't figure any other reason.
Yeah, Ms. Cochran, I understand your point, but I think it needs to be pointed out that the document was transmitted to council and posted on the agenda for this meeting. So Ms. Bronster had equal access to the work. So I don't know, for the most part, attorneys are very clear about their lines of avoiding conflicts, and I'm sure that in our case, Corp Counsel has done a lot of that as well. But your point is well taken.
So, Chair, is there a mechanism, or is there a question that can be posed if there is something this Corporation Counsel needs to disclose? Is that a rightful or a
We'll ask Mr. Cushing.
question?
Disclose what?
If there's a relationship of sorts,
Are you
a
saying,
connection between.
Member Cochran, are you saying that our office has consulted Marjorie Bronster?
I'm asking the question. Is that the relationship? I don't know.
First of all, Chair, if I may,
Please proceed.
let me apologize for not being here earlier. It's in another meeting. So, to be clear, Ms. Bronster has not, in this matter whatsoever, consulted with our department has had no communication with our department and has not at all framed any of her legal opinions based on our department. Can I be more clear than that?
I don't know, can you? Okay, and so it's not, my question was more directly to Ms. Thompson, who is the assigned corporation counsel to this item. Wasn't primarily the question.
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Chair. I know of Ms. Bronster. I have never met her and I've never spoken with her, and none of my work is based on any of her prior work, nor has she ever reached out to me in any kind of capacity.
Nor would that be appropriate.
Sorry.
Mr. Wong?
Ms. Bronster did reach out to my office, but she did not receive a phone call or any time or any communication from my office. I just became aware she placed a call. She did not receive a return call from me or anyone else in my department. And there was no information given to her from my department, and we received no information from her. If you have anything that says otherwise, I'd like to see it.
Ms. Cochran?
So I guess my question, I was real curious as to how this county communication was brought forward. I mean, the way it was presented onto this agenda. It's typically put into the item with the committee as, a memo and additional information. But the way it was sent in already had some curious, I don't know, it was just very odd.
What's your
to me,
question?
the way that it was presented. Things that typically are discussed in executive session and things of that nature.
Excuse me if I may. I thought you would want all of this vetted and open. I thought you would want, and the general public would want to know, our position on whether or not the bill is legal or not. It's in response to a query from you, and it was sent back to you and to the committee. So you would prefer to have this discussion in executive session so that the general public cannot be made aware of what the concerns are?
Sure. No.
Ms. Cochran?
No. And I appreciate everything being in the open, just as I would have appreciated with sand mining. But what this is doing, as far as I can see, is it laid out every single bullet pointed opposition or a way for litigation to occur, point by point, very open and blatantly set out from the whole IAM item in its own document of 20 some odd pages for the whole world to see and the whole opposition to see. That's what's odd about it. Because if I correlate it to how we've been working through the sand mining bill, all that stuff is stopped and roadblocked into executive session for further detail, and this one has been put out for the entire world to see, especially the opposition. And point by point, what could be litigated and all the concerns, and I mean, it was just laid out like a Christmas gift. So that is what is very distressing to me.
Chair, if I may.
Please proceed.
Committee Report 179, page 3. The Deputy Corporation Counsel stated she had concerns about the revised proposed bill, including the legal impact of the ban and other legal issues. She suggested an executive session so she could express those concerns to your committee. Your committee chose not to go into executive session. That's your report.
That's right. And so you're gonna put out all the bullets and ammunition for the opposition to pick up and run with?
Absolutely. You're given an opportunity to go into executive session. It is the Department of the Corporation Counsel's responsibility to inform this body when it is cross crossing the line into creating a law that's going to expose the county to liability. You're on notice.
Thank you, and I'm glad that you take that philosophy in your department. So why is it that your department has not dug into all the case law, all the backup documentation, scientific, hundreds of pages of reports
Let's lower the temperature.
to make,
Both of you.
to defend this county in pushing this legislation through? I've had to go outside of this county, this corporation council, to seek further guidance and support. And they have come up with total proven case law. And I have not seen this department, your department, this corporation council, do the due diligence that I've had to go outside to seek. I don't understand that part either.
I'm not sure. What's your question?
My question is, why didn't you folks do your job?
We are doing our job.
No.
We're putting you on
Personally,
notice.
sorry, I have a lot of case law here. I'm not even the attorney in this room, for God's sakes. But it's pretty written, point black and white, very simple layman's terms that states we have every right to do what we're doing, basically. And if you read this,
Ms. Cochran.
and there's also outside counsel who's more than happy to defend us, because we're not getting it here with your department. Sorry, Chair, but it's the truth.
Have you provided any of those documents to Corp Counsel?
I believe they haven't. You should. Kelly versus 1250 Oceanside. And, I mean, the Commerce Clause, Ms. Thompson states it all the time. There's, I mean, again, they're the attorney. They should have all of this at their fingertips, like I do.
Chair, if I may,
Saying.
I am aware of the case 1250 Oceanside Partners. However, I have not received, I don't know what material you're referring to, but I have not received materials from your office in support of different conclusions that than are those that I came to in my memo back to you.
I think it would be helpful if you would provide whatever case documentation has been provided to you to Corp Counsel.
So I guess in basic language, you said you have vetted through this. And I think you gave a summarization of your reading of this. And what you brought out is completely different from what an outside counsel pointed to in this document. That's another reason why I feel this corporation council has not worked in the best interest of this county. Chair, is
Mr. Wong?
Can we have Member Cochran identify who's this outside counsel and where this legal advice is coming from, and whether or not this body has authorized the engagement of outside counsel?
it's for my own personal education and help in my deliberations. It's
Can
not,
we have the law for my?
I'm not using county funds or taxpayers' money for this. This is how I do my due diligence in order to make educated decisions for this county, which I thought it's your folks' job to do.
It certainly is.
Okay,
We're not going to take that type of advice
a little bit.
from anyone.